Good evening and welcome to Live at the Hive. I will make my introduction fairly brief today because I think that we'll probably get some feedback. We've had some problems with microphones, and just like Emma O'Neill that's on Harris struggling to connect, so are we. So thank you for your patience. We thought that the last one was going to be the last Live at the Hive, but he pulls it out again, and here we are in the middle of November, doing a colony uniting. So down in West Sussex. Hello, Roger.
Hello, Richard. Hello, everybody. Dreadfully sorry about the shortness of notice, but it was only just yesterday that we finally fixed this up. I'm sorry, I've got a neighbour that must be doing their last lot of lawn mowing, and there's somebody a bit further up who's got one of these vibratory nail type things to nail his fence up. So it's going to be a little bit noisy. The only good part about it is that we haven't got the aeroplanes from Gatwick today. Richard, am I being drowned out by the lawnmower?
No, we can hear you. I think everybody will just be glad that you're on the screen.
Yeah, okay, fair enough then. Right, well, you might be wondering whether we should be opening bees today or not. I don't normally do it, but I brought down my my thermometer, and it's now 13 degrees. But we've got an opera to do, which I think has got to be done. So I've looked at the weather forecast. It's not going to get any warmer next week, or the forecast isn't. So that's why we put this together. Now, so it's 13 degrees. There are bees here actually bringing pollen in. Now, I have to say mine are darkish bees. There is some yellow in them, obviously being down south with all the imports going on around us, or the use of imports rather. But there are bees coming in, not big pellets of pollen, about sort of half size, something like that. Unfortunately, because we got a problem with the headset, I'm using one of the phones to speak to you in. So we're only going to be able to use one phone. But as you know, I try and have something a little bit different each time, and perhaps something that isn't really relevant to what we're doing. And what I've got at the moment is something which anybody who knows me knows that I'm not in favour of beekeeping gadgets. But occasionally there's something that is quite useful. Now, like a lot of other people, I'm starting to use foundationless combs. And if you do have foundationless combs, you really need to get the hive level. Otherwise, if it's tipped up, the bees will still build vertically. And if it's ridiculously at a level, then they're going to build probably even outside the comb. So I picked this little spirit level up from eBay, and I think it cost me about £2.30, including postage. It's actually quite a nice little job, and it's also got a magnetic strip that you can put it on top of a steel topped hive. So I haven't checked all mine, and I have to say I may not use this very much, but it's ideal for showing people like beginners and that sort of thing. Right, so what do we got today? I can't hang around too long because if it's anything like yesterday, we're going to lose a bit of light. Just gone 3. So what are we doing today? Well, about 10 days ago, this hive here, when all the others were quiet, the bees were running around all over the front of the hive. And I thought, as an experienced beekeeper, straight away, they seem to be queenless. But I took the attitude, if they're only just starting to run around, then they probably only just lost their queen. Now, I hope you've been reading the page on Cushman's website that I've got about queen problems. Queens disappearing is one of them. 30 years ago, this just wouldn't happen. Now, there's a couple of things involved with that normally people probably wouldn't inspect their colonies after perhaps early October. Because of the queen problems, I'm suggesting now that you get a warm day in November, just have a quick look, see if they are queen right, and you obviously tell if the colony's queen right or not. So anyway, what I did was I thought, well, I'll leave it 4 or 5 days and then inspect them to see if the colonies are building emergency cells. That is, if they have got any brood. So I inspected it, and sure enough, they were queenless. But there wasn't any brood in there anyway. So it was a queen that had obviously stopped laying and then disappeared. Now, I have to say, sorry about that. I have to say that over the years, I've found that what I call native type bees, the view seems to be that they go off lay, the queens go off lay about the end of the year, turn of the year, something like that. Well, I've taken removed ever so many free living colonies and trees and buildings and that sort of thing. And my experience is that it's early to mid November when the queens go off lay. Now, I've actually checked 1 or 2 other colonies in the last week, and I haven't seen anything with any brood, which of course is a good thing, I think, because if you've got a brood break, then it's gonna interrupt the breeding of a varroa. Whereas these, what I call modern bees, the yellowish, perhaps even buckfast type, Italian type, those sort of things, the queens tend to plough straight through, and it doesn't give the colony a break from a varroa. Excuse me, Martina, there's just some pollen just gone into this one here. Couple of bees with pollen. Anyway, so I had a look at it, and clearly it was queenless. Now, I haven't got any other colonies here, and the obvious thing to do would be to either unite it to that colony there, or there's another one over there, or even that one over there. Just bring them close together and unite them in the way that we did the other ones a few weeks ago. So I have got 2 fairly weak nucs at the Wisborough Green teaching apiary, which is literally about 5 miles as the fly crows in that direction there. And I thought, well, I'll make use of those, and I'll bring 2 of them back home, so we could unite one to the colony, and the other one I can look after here. So if it does need a bit of food or something like that, I can do it rather than taking a trip out. Now, I know, is it the 13th of November today, 14th of November today? I know it's quite late. It certainly is further up country, and I can't ever remember uniting at this time of year. But I'm going to give it a crack, because otherwise I'm going to certainly lose the main colony, and the other 2 might perhaps not make it because they're small anyway. So that's what I'm hoping to do. Now, I thought about whether I should tell you this or not, but I've decided I'm going to. Some of you know that I do a little bit of divining, not too seriously. and I've checked all the other colonies, and they're all queen right, apart from this one, and I think that one is queenless. I haven't checked it. I last looked at this main colony a week ago. This one here and this one here, I haven't inspected for 4 or 5 weeks now. Might even be a little bit more. I'm hoping. Well, my divining rods are telling me that one's queen right and this one isn't, but I can be wrong because I'm not that experienced. So what I'm going to do is to just go through and inspect that one to start with, so that you can see what a queenless colony behaves like in the winter. And queenless colonies usually behave differently the colder it gets. If it's quite cold, what they do is they stick their rear ends in the air, expose the sting, and if you've got good eyesight, you can very often see a little droplet of venom off the end of the sting. And I was hoping that Martina would be able to pick that up, but unfortunately the camera's in my pocket, and it's the one we're using for the microphone. So. Oh yeah, what else I'll say is that both of these nucs are actually the property of Wisborough Green Beekeeping Association. But one of the reasons we produce nucs, apart from raising queens, is so that if a member wants a queen, especially at this time of the year, we've got one, and I generally put them in pairs so that I can take a queen away from one and unite two up. It's a benefit for members, but this year it's actually a benefit for the apiary manager. So I'll try and talk through as I go. I'm dreadfully sorry about the probably loss in quality of the microphone, but sadly when Martina got here, it didn't work. Whoops. So let's useful bits of kit they are. Now, I know there's all sorts of things said about when you should inspect bees. In my view, if they're flying, they're okay. But I'm in shirt sleeves here, so it's not really that chilly. So a little bit of smoke on that one. This one's T004. I don't know what that one is. Yeah, something else I'd like to show you. When you've got quite a lot of nucs and you're raising queens, let's say for an organisation like the Beekeeping Association, we did get to over 30 nucs there this year, and they need to be numbered. And it can be quite difficult finding a numbering system. So what I've done, do you want me to bring it over, Martina, or can you? Yeah. All I've done is to get these little wallets, which are used by coin collectors, and they've got a little hole in them. Well, I thought it did. No, they haven't got a little hole in, but you can just put your piece of paper or something like that inside. You can give it a name or a number or whatever, and that stays for the colony. Because if you've got something, you pin it on the inside of the roof or on the front of the hive or something like that, then I found it quite difficult to do. And that I've only done it this last year, and that I found works really well. So
Roger, is that one of your crown boards as well for for inverting and using with ApiGuard?
Oh yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. When I open this, I'll show you, Richard. I use top beast base, and that means that you can have a flat. I might have one over here. Wait a minute. That mean we're struggling here with smoke, and lawn's been mowed next door, all sorts of things. Yeah, that means that you can put a flat board, and that's 18mm ply, over as a crown board. The reason I've got these plinths round is so that you can turn it upside down and put the ApiGuard inside. Obviously, with a nuke, I generally put half a tray. If it's a really small nuke, I'd put less than that. I know technically perhaps you're not supposed to, but that's what I do, because if you put too much in, it just they just go straight at the entrance and they stay there. Right, so I'm going to put this down. For those who haven't seen this entrance block before, so you don't lose entrance blocks when they're loose like that, all I've done is just to get a staple and or a couple of staples and a bit of baler twine, and that now is part of the floorboard, so it doesn't get lost. What I found is it needs to be long enough so that during the summer you can just put it round on the side there. Right, now I'm expecting these to
We appear to have lost sound. I think Roger won't even be able to hear us, but hopefully Martina will, so that we can let her know that currently, Roger, we can't hear you. The mobile phone in his pocket has disconnected from the stream. I'm really sorry about this, but the usual Bluetooth headset that Roger uses has failed to connect today. So right. Martina's here again. Let's have a look.
I can hear you, Richard.
We've got you again. Thanks, Roger.
Yeah. So this isn't the biggest colony. But we've got food there, look. So they took the food. Now I'm hoping that Martina can see these bees fanning, look. Right, that one there's fanning. I can hear the roar. Unfortunately, you won't be able to, I think, because of the...
No, but we can hear the lawnmower very well.
Sorry about that. Yeah, see, they're fanning here. Not a particularly strong colony, and I should really go and look at the records to find out when I looked at them last and when they were last queen right. But obviously, 3 weeks ago. Now, one of the problems, of course, is if you've got a queenless colony, unless it's AFB, you can't really see if there's been any infection or not. Now, in your own apiary, it's probably okay, but if you perhaps wanted to help another beekeeper out, you really would need to check for disease. EFB, the bees can remove it. AFB can't. So the technique with that is to shake the bees off, like so, and get the light, what there is, over your shoulder, and look down the face of the comb like that. And if you look just back from the edge of the cell, you can see the decomposed larva that's sunk to the base of the cell. And when I say the base of the cell, I don't mean the base that way. I mean the base that way. It sort of drops down to the bottom, and the bees can't remove it. So you can check for EFB. This is clearly okay. I tend to do it as a matter of course anyway. So okay, we haven't got a particularly great colony here, and of course don't forget some of these bees are going to be by now quite old. So I'm going to put that back because I know what's in there, and so do you. Somebody when they saw me do that before, you know, just bounce the boxes or the crown board or whatever. Somebody congratulated me on doing it because that's what their teacher had taught them. And of course, what's happening is, of course, the bees are, as soon as they feel the pressure on their backs, they just move out of the way. So let's have a look at this now. Now, I haven't looked at these for, I said 4 or 5 weeks. I think it's probably more than that. By that. Right, let's just see what we got here. Sorry about this. I hope that's okay. I don't know how they came out.
Yeah, we still got
anyway, let me just. Sorry, Richard?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Right, okay. Right, now this one was queen right some time ago. Not the greatest comb, but I do tend to have combs like that in the teaching apiary, and the reason for that is that you can show somebody, look, if it gets like that, you really ought to get rid of it. Otherwise, if somebody gets rid of it, you get a nice pristine comb. Nobody sees anything. Right, don't quite know what we got here. There's certainly no brood on there. I've got to be looking for a queen. There's certainly a tiny bit agitated. But you know, the bees fanning like that one there. That's a bit suspicious. That looks like an emergency cell, or part of an emergency cell. Of course, I'm looking for a queen. Of course, this time of year, it could well be a virgin queen. Of course, it can't get mated. Now, there's quite a lot of bees here. But of course, again, there's been a brew break, so they're not going to be that old. I'm as certain as I can be that these are queenless. Of course, this time of the year you can't really do much about it. Right. I can't see a queen there. I will go back and have a look.
Martina, we've lost sound again. It's disconnected. What a way to end Live at the Hive. I'm sorry about the sound problems that we're having. The usual headset, although can be temperamental, usually is a little bit better than this one. Are you there, Roger?
Yeah, I can hear you, Richard.
Got you now.
Right. Here's a poser for you. If that colony at the bottom dies out because they're queenless, is it a winter loss? Are you there?
I am. Sorry, I thought it was a rhetorical question.
Is it if we lose that colony at the bottom because they're queenless, is it classified as a winter loss?
That's a very good question. No, I would say that would be mating problems.
Actually, I would say it was a winter loss.
Right, okay.
But yeah, look, these are look at them. Look.
Yeah.
And here I'm pretty certain these are queenless. The point I was going to make, look, was if we do call that one a winter loss, even though it might well be a mating problem, I don't know. I don't think it is. I think it's just one of the queen problems. If we lose that one, I consider that's a winter loss. Certainly in the middle of November, because we're probably not going to lose it till early January, are we? Or middle of January. If we then unite two together, so you actually lose a colony, would you then classify that as a winter loss? Yeah.
No.
Can you hear this roar? Where's my microphone? Is that there? Yeah, can you hear that, Richard?
Yeah, slightly. Yes. Yeah, it is
okay.
Yeah, slightly. Yeah, we got that now. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I hope everybody who's watching's got two fingers. If they have, can they cross them on my behalf, please? Because I'm now going to have a look through this one here and see what we've got. I think we got two queenless ones there. If this one's queen, right, we got a little bit of thinking on the hoof to do. Whoops. So this one's T14 04014. That came off a bit too easy. That's not good. Look at that, look. They look different. Okay. So let's just have a look, see what we got here.
Roger, are you still there? appear to have a problem. Let's see if we can hear him through the phone. That's Roger. Are you there? Can you, if you talk now?
Am I speaking again?
We can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me, Richard?
We can hear you through the one that Martina's holding now.
Can you hear
go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Martina, tell him that we can hear him.
Yeah, okay. I was just going to ask what that was. I think that's a maple leaf. Sorry, a sycamore leaf. That obviously the bees have done something with, and I think that's fungal growth on. Anyway, look at these bees here. Look how they're behaving differently than the others. They're behaving quite differently. No queen on there. Now, depending on her age, I usually mark them fairly soon after they start laying. So, what's the colour for this year, Richard? Pink.
A pink every year.
Pink. No point on there. Nice dark bees look. No brood. I'm trying to think what I can do here. The temptation is to use newspaper, but that'll take me another week to sort it out. I'm a little bit concerned about that. A little bit concerned. Okay. Well, I'm just looking for a queen. I don't know if she's not because of course all the records are 5 miles away. Ooh. Where's mother? Now, what you do find is if they're out of lay, very often they roar around a bit, I suppose, because they're that much lighter and more active. Well, I think I've worked out what I'm going to do here. If I can find this queen. What I'm going to do is something new. Oh, there she is. Right in front of me. Got it?
Yeah, we've got her. We can see her. Yeah.
Well, we'll actually put a couple of the 3 workers in. Now, an easy way of picking workers, I'm sure I demonstrated it before, is you get a bee like that, with its head in the cell, it arches its back and its wings stick out, so you can pick it up quite easily like that, and you won't sting yourself. Right, okay, there's a couple. I'll just put 1 more in. Right, now what I'm thinking of doing, is shaking all the bees in together, because we've got 3 colonies here. shaking all the bees in together, if we treat this as being the main brood nest, put this in the bottom there, shake the bees in one by one, or mix the cones up, it really doesn't matter, and then we just introduce the queen, and if I let her out in 2 days time, I think that is going to solve it. Problem of course is that we've got extra cones. Now they don't belong to me, they belong to Wisborough Green. So in case we had to do that, what I've done is I've put some drawing pins. I'm just going to put one in the top of each frame that belongs to Wisborough Green. So next year we'll know what's mine and what's theirs. Because we'll basically run the apiaries together with queen rearing and that sort of thing. There's a little bit of to-ing and fro-in anyway. Right, so I think probably I'll put that down in the middle. We've got enough room for 2 brood chambers, and I've got a spare brood chamber because I thought what we were going to do was to do a normal unite, but sadly we're not going to be able to do that. What's this? What's that?
Your wires have come loose.
Right, so he can hear me on that then, can he? You can hear on that. What am I doing with this thing?
I'm trying to reset it.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry about this, Richard. This is not worked out too well. We're going to have a voiceover from you. Can they hear me, Martin?
Yes, we can. Yeah. Pat's asking if the brown bar was a dummy board. It's probably a follower board that Roger's got in the original nuke that he had the frames that he put drawing pins into.
What have you reset it now?
Yes, I just need a hand.
You just need a hand, yeah. Okay. That could go on the top box, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think that that frame is good enough that I could put that in the top box.
Can you hear me now, Roger? Can you hear me now, Roger?
Cool, yeah. Right, let's put them out there like that. I think I'm working out what I should be doing now. Right, so if I get
So these are now the frames from the nuke box that Roger's transferring into the brood box that was on the stand. What Roger's found is that usually if you dump all the bees into the bottom of the brood box, particularly if it's from 3 colonies, that they're reluctant to fight with each other. So that's why he's removing all the bees from the frame as he's putting them into the box.
What I've got now, can you speak to me, Martina?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah. What I'm doing is shaking all the bees up, so they get horribly confused. So they don't know who to fight with. I've never done this so late. So now what I've done is I've got all the combs of the queen right nuke in the bottom. I can put the queen in there. Right. So now I can empty combs at the bottom at the side, because the bees, I hope, are going to cluster and go straight up to the middle. So I'll put the empty combs on the side. Yeah, we're going to do a bit of a voiceover on this one, I think, Richard. Now, what I'm going to try and do is get reasonable combs of food above where the bees are, so that they can go up to get stores for the winter. Which, of course, is what they would naturally do anyway.
So what in effect Roger's done is he's combined the 2 nukes and the original colony that was on the stand, 2 queenless colonies there, and then the queen.
So get all mixed up. I hope I'm making it clear what I'm doing, but I don't quite know how we can do it. We might have to do a voiceover or something.
Ian, hopefully towards the end of all this, I'll get a chance to speak to Roger and get him to explain. But what Roger very rarely uses a fondant release plug on the queen cages. He will just return and manually release the queen from the cage. But I'll get him to explain that if it's all possible when he's finished.
Right. Now, I'm hoping they can hear me. What I've tried to do is to get it roughly the same as they would have. There is no brood. But where the queen was, the brood area where the queen was, I've got in the bottom here, in the centre. And hopefully when she comes back into lay, that's where she will lay. I have to say it's going to be touch and go whether this colony makes it or not. I've got some. Because they're going to need all over again.
Martina, can you ask Roger if he's got fondant in that cage or if he's coming back for a manual release?
What I've done is...
the question is whether you're adding a fondant.
Sorry?
Whether you're adding fondant.
No, they've got quite enough food there. No, they've got enough food.
No, not fondant to feed them. Fondant in the queen cage.
Fondant in the queen cage.
Oh no, the beetle feeder. Sorry. Well, actually, I have never ever put fondant in a queen cage for my own use. I have before sent queens away, but not for my own use. Never ever. If you put them in the colony, they're going to feed them. They're going to feed the queen. I'll tell you what, it's just starting to rain here, Richard. So I'm sorry. I think we're going to have to call a halt to this.
That's okay. That seems
seems
like the perfect end to this video.
Microphone not working.
That's so, okay.
I think, Richard, we've got to say that's it.
Excellent. Roger, you can't hear me, but thank you very much. For those of you that have watched live, I don't know how 98 of you have managed. I think some of you have been appreciative of the fact that Roger is doing this live, and some of you just didn't want to leave in case anything else went catastrophically wrong. I think what we'll do is we'll take this video down afterwards, and I'll sit with Roger and do a voiceover and then re-upload it so that we can really get the benefit of Roger's expertise. But as always, we're indebted to Roger, and thank you very much for honestly, Alison, who's worried about that queen. He will be back to release the queen. You have a perfectly good night's sleep. You don't need a sleepless night on that one. But we'll re-upload with Roger's comments so that everybody knows what's happened on that one. I think this will be the last live at the Hive, but knowing Roger, we might be wrong. But we are coming back in the spring with more live at the Hive. We've got even more planned, and then over the winter we will have some webinars that we've got planned that Roger's pulling together at the moment, so we can bring those to you as well. All that's left to do is to thank Martina, who has the patience of a saint down there in West Sussex with Roger, and to thank you, the viewers, for joining us, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks very much.
Thank you.